Just when you thought it couldn't get any better. All right, Hope 2020.
Yeah. What'd you say earlier? All else fails, throw a conference.
That'll do it.
That's the ticket.
Well, the women were depressed and we had to do something. Oh, wait, no, it wasn't depression. It was financial contribution. The women had all paid for their conference, their retreat, so we should have a conference.
Faith can feel like hearts and butterflies until someone lights a match and burns it all to the ground. Welcome to the Burning Butterflies podcast.
The sad thing is that there's abuse of every kind within the church. But the spiritual abuse is the stuff that just
What's a place there shouldn't be abuse? Like, there just shouldn't be abuse in a place that claims to.
Well, it ruins your soul.
If you're new here, we suggest listening to our prologue episode first. This is the story of two women's journey through toxic church culture and spiritual abuse, all while finding healing in the end.
Sometimes it's just the facts, and if you get offended by it, that's a you issue. And if we can't be mature enough to have these conversations, even if some of the topics are difficult, then shame on us.
Yeah, so if you remember, we had this little thing called COVID, and we did women's retreat around like May, well, in May, no one was doing very much of anything.
Because women can't leave their house and their husband's alone with the kids unless it's a holiday, specifically for moms.
Yes. So, we had gone back to in-person services by the time we were supposed to go to retreat. But the retreat center was closed. Like they closed for I think the whole year. It was like the whole next summer before they opened back up again.
Right. Because there was a lot of uncertainty on whether or not they were going to be able to do the retreat the following year. They're like, we just don't know. We're going to play it by ear. We will honor all of your payments, your deposit. Like, we will honor that. Like, whatever that we paid for the deposit, I shouldn't say payments, because they honored whatever we paid for a deposit. They said, we will honor that for when we are open. Your spot, you're going to have to reschedule, but your deposit is still good. And then Charlotte said the church would honor payments of those who paid in full.
Yeah. Well,
because we can't give it back. We don't have it anymore. We spent it on something else.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, if you remember in one of our first episodes where we talked about women's retreats, we would say, who wants to pay for next year's retreat? And if you paid up front, then you got like a discount of some percentage. But they used that because in order to book the date for the following year, we had to put down a deposit. And the church never had that money on hand to put down that deposit. So we relied on the fact that women were going to show up and have such a great time at that retreat that they would then turn around and pay for next year's retreat up front. Then we could use that money for the deposit. Yeah. And so that's kind of what was happening. And I mean, even by March, when COVID first happened, I mean, there was quite a few women who had paid in full, but not very many. This, like, the way women's retreat worked was like, it came down to like the week of retreat for a lot of women. And a lot of women would show up and have to pay the remainder of their balance once they got up there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we had to honor that because women had paid for it. And I want to say Charlotte, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I remember a conversation of Charlotte saying, well, if anyone wants their money back, we'll give it to them, but let's offer them like rollover, like offer them multiple different things first so we don't have to pay them back.
Yes, there was like a gesture of that's, financial civility, but it was definitely like, I don't know. Like, it would be one of those things where it's like, if you need it back, like, come talk to us. We'll see what we can work out.
Yeah. Well, and I don't even think we offered it. Like, we didn't offer it. It was only like the women who like asked for it. Like,
and I feel like what I knew was like, if somebody asks you, like, just tell them to come talk to me. We'll figure something. It was never like, it wasn't send them to me, I'll give them their money back. It was send them to me, we'll figure something out. Right? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I heard that too. Exactly the way you just worded it. That's how I heard it too.
So we are, we know we can't go to retreat. But retreat has been planned. Like, we were in the planning process. Skits were being written. Worship was being practiced. Like, you guys were in full on retreat planning mode. Yeah. And then everything shut down. So we're talking like, 6 weeks after the world shuts down is when you were supposed to be going to retreat.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And this was like, Brandi had already, and you can correct me here if I'm wrong, Brandi had already been like co-leading a couple retreats, right? And she was like deep in the waters of, she was the vice president of retreats. Okay.
Yes. And I think this retreat even like listed her as like the point of contact. I don't think it listed Charlotte
at that point already.
Yeah. So
we're almost, Brandi was the president and Charlotte was the vice president. Like that actually probably is a little more accurate to where we were, because she had earned her way up in the system.
Yeah. So we knew the women who were going to speak and all of this. And there was kind of talk of like, well, what are we going to do? So we kind of waited, and then we heard back from the retreat center of like, no, we're absolutely not opening later. Like, we're staying closed, for the season. And so then it was like, okay, well, are we just going to pause and like pick everything up again in a year? Or what do we do? And I personally, this is my opinion, so I'll let you give me your opinion. I think it was decided to do a conference style retreat. So it was still billed as women's retreat, but it was a 1-day conference at the church. So they took basically what I did with the Go conference and applied all the women's retreat stuff to it. And I think that decision was primarily made to try to quell the women who wanted their money back from not going to retreat.
I agree with that statement 100%. Absolutely. And not even like this is an afterthought. This is, I felt in the moment, and if I remember correctly, we had conversations about the consequences of not having a retreat.
Yeah.
And I strongly remember that being like a topic of conversation.
Yeah.
Of like, women have paid, women are expecting this, like it was never like, well, we can't give them their money back, so we have to give them a conference. Like, it was never that direct, but it was never just women are expecting a conference or our retreat, we should give them a retreat. It was women are expecting a retreat. Some women have already paid. It was always hand in hand. Yeah. So you are not, as somebody who sat in on the meetings, like you are not, if you weren't even there and
yeah. So everything I heard, like, that's important to point out is I dipped on the whole women's retreat thing years ago.
Yeah.
So
if you remember,
everything I'm hearing,
yeah,
everything I'm hearing is just from working in the office.
Yeah. Or from Brandi.
Yeah, or from Brandi. Yeah. And so you and Brandi are kind of the main leads of this retreat.
Yeah. So this is my, like, get your feet wet.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So Brandi has worked her way up into being, like, she is governing the retreat. Charlotte has two hands out. One is completely open to Brandi, and the other one is loosely holding the reins on me. Right. Where she got her third hand, I don't know. But because there's a whole area of the retreat that is performance and presentation and worship and all of that. Like, there is the atmosphere and the aesthetic of retreat.
The event side of retreat.
Yeah. And so there's the organization side, which Brandi is running. And then there's all of the creative side. And that is where I am stepping up to take my place alongside Brandi and have Charlotte let go of the reins to us.
Yeah.
But like I said, somehow she magically grew a third hand.
Yeah. And so
we
decided we're doing this conference where it's the same theme as what retreat was going to. So basically, if you've already paid for retreat, that's fine. That money will apply to next year's retreat. This conference, you will come and you will get all of the information we were going to give you up at retreat in the mountains, but we're going to do it at the church all in one day. You provide your own lunch and it's free.
Yeah.
So now you can invite all your friends. And then it was like, this is amazing. And this is kind of how we marketed this is amazing. This is so awesome. You can invite your friends to come to this. They're going to see how much fun this is. And we're going to have so many women because let's face it, everyone's been cooped up with COVID. So everyone's going to be so excited to come to this thing. And we are going to show them how amazing our women's ministry is. And then we are going to give them the opportunity at this conference to sign up for next year's retreat.
Yeah.
And prepay. Like, this is so stupid to think about now. We expected women who had never stepped foot in our church before, who came with a friend, to be so excited with what we were doing that they were going to hand over like $150 to strangers for something that was going to happen a whole year down the road.
During a time when the majority of people have been laid off of work.
Yes, in a financial crisis. Oh.
We know that all of your jobs have gone away temporarily and you're just now getting back to work, but you got a stimulus check.
Yeah.
So work it over.
It'd be nice if $150 of that could come to the church.
And you know what's so interesting about it is, like, I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about, like, was the retreat always hope, right? Because what would happen is the year before, people would be so inspired by retreat. They'd be like, next year, like, it always piggybacks.
Yeah, here's
right?
my
like,
word I got this year. This should be the theme for next year.
Yes, yeah. And so a lot of that would get thrown out. And one of those would always stick, right? But Charlotte always had, from May of one year until about January of the next year, when the inner circle of retreat people would start to get the buzz. And one of those words, whichever one really resonated with Charlotte, you know, or a verse or whatever would become, but it was always something that somebody had said.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then she would do her little thing like, well, just hold on. We just don't know.
Yeah, just keep that with you. And when we start planning.
Yeah, but she would always, and so I say this because there's a connection. Like, it's almost like the ball played in her favor in 2020, where Hope 2020 became so meaningful because of COVID. And I say that like, because this was billed as it's like a God thing. God spoke to people, and
yeah, a whole year ago we got the word hope.
Yes. And then look, God knew that there was going to be this pandemic and we were going to need, right? So it was always billed that way, which on the surface you go, well, yeah. I mean, obviously if somebody said hope in 2019 and then in 2020 there's a pandemic and now your retreat is all about that. I mean, look at what God did. But it was like that for every retreat.
Yeah.
For every retreat, the word would have been spoken the year before. So that's where I get a little like, like, is it like, was it one of a few choices? And she was like, I had been like,
well,
did other people throw out other words? Like, and was it really that, like, I think maybe that word was thrown out because of the retreat before it. Like, we do tend to ebb and flow and they piggyback on each other, but I really honestly believe, like, she was like, no, remember when so-and-so said, or wherever it came from, this hope. And because the verse was about an anchor and that tied into the retreat before. So it really got played on to where at the time I fully 100% believed it was God.
Well, and like,
but looking back, I'm like,
well, and like looking back, I mean, because so many instances we were like, oh my gosh, look what God did. Look what God did. Okay, like there's going to be a global pandemic. People are going to die. God isn't going to show our country's leaders like, hey, maybe this is how we should handle this. God isn't going to reveal to people like, hey, you know, this is going to be really dangerous for you. Maybe you stay home. God is going to give, come as you are, the word hope. That's how God is going to work through this pandemic.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I try really hard not to be cynical now, but like, it's things like that when like you take those rose tinted glasses off and you look at things logically and you're like, I don't think that was God. I think we were desperate and grasping at straws, and we were willing to put meaning on just about anything.
Yeah, like, no, yeah, and it is hard. It's hard to like find the middle ground there. Like, you don't want to be on the extreme of where like, oh, this is funny. Like, just be like, you don't want to be on the extreme of where everything is like all God, you know, all the time. Like, oh, look at the time. It's a coincidence, right? And there's no such thing as coincidence. It must be God. Like, we go to extremes. That's something about humanity that I've learned in my life here. To the other extreme of where you're like, oh my gosh, everybody's, you know, none of that's real. But it's funny how I was talking to somebody about, like, I lost a contact in my life over this conversation. I was talking to somebody about how like the brain filters out like information, and how like if you tell your brain like, I'm really excited to get a red, like I'm looking at red cars, all of a sudden you see red cars everywhere, right? That is the part of your brain that is meant to do that, so that you're not taking in all the information that's coming at you. It's filtering out what you have designed it, what you have programmed to see, right? So I was talking to somebody about this because this conversation about like Tennessee had like come up, and so I was like having this conversation with somebody about Tennessee, and then all of a sudden like I started seeing license plates from Tennessee, and like every billboard that had like every commercial, everything, right, with Tennessee on it. And I was like, I happened to off the cuff say, I was like, it's really funny because back in the day I would have thought that was God telling me to move to Tennessee. And this person is like, well, maybe it is. And I'm like, no, it's just how my brain works. Like, I've had a conversation about Tennessee, and I met somebody there, and I was telling the story, and it was really prevalent at that moment. I said, so now my brain is doing its job.
Yeah.
That doesn't talk to me anymore because they were like, no, that really could be God. I'm like, no, no, it's just my brain. Thanks. So yeah, you don't want to be so cynical, and you also don't want to be so gullible, but somewhere in the middle of that. But I just say that to be like, there was so much manipulation, and you didn't see it at the time. We all just believed that at the 2019 retreat, somebody brought up this idea of hope. And by the time we got to 2020, that was going to be the theme.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I don't think from way back at retreat, it was ever said next year will be hope. But I know in the way things worked at some point, it was evident, that there were things going on in the world and we needed hope. So
yeah, we go into this. We're going to do Hope 2020. Amanda doesn't really want anything to do with this. And Charlotte doesn't want me to have anything to do with this. She does not want me to touch stuff still. She is still 100% from when she tried to come in between me and Brandi. 100%. She is Team Brandi. She wants nothing to do with me.
And also, she has found your replacement.
Yeah.
She has new media and all things that Amanda does.
Yeah, we're excited about Miss America, and Miss America has to be a part of this and all of this. And so I am like, that's great. Miss America can sit with Charlotte's mom and talk to her about how the church does not have Photoshop because your son-in-law is cheap. And so we're riding with free software. So you want Jesus?
Well, I can't take these 3 pictures of Jesus and make them into one.
Yeah. So Miss America can build her PowerPoint. Miss America can make all the things.
This is where the things that were when we talked about Miss America, and we're she billed herself as a marketing expert.
Yes.
Not I dabble in marketing for my husband's so-called business, or because I homeschool my kids, I download some pictures and make them things to write on. Nothing it's a hobby, or I like it and I want to learn more, or I dabble in it. Nothing like that.
Yeah.
Which is what ended up being the case. She billed herself as I build websites. Yeah. I am a marketing expert. I do all things media.
Yeah. Yes. So I'm like, that's perfect.
Mom and Charlotte ate it up.
Yeah. So I'm like, that's perfect. Miss America can do all of that for retreat, because I had been over retreat for years. And quite honestly, it was a pain in my ass every year, because it's I want to do the name tags, So, okay, Susie, you can do the name tags. Well, then at the 11th hour, Susie's standing in front of my desk, not knowing how to print shit. And I have to rebuild the whole thing because Susie put together stuff in clip art in a Word document and can't understand why we can't print this out now. And, and so I'm like, that's great. She can do all of it. Miss America can do it. Spoiler alert, Miss America could not do it. Basically.
At all.
Yeah. Basically, Miss America wanted everything to be done for her. And she would write the copy, the words that would go on the flyers.
Yeah. And then she wanted credit for it all.
And
she wanted it to be her face and her thing, but everybody else's work.
Yes. Someone else made the logo. Someone else did all the work. But at this point, Charlotte was like, yeah, Amanda doesn't have to have anything to do with it. And at this point, we're deep in the colors and all of this, which we're going to kind of get into a little bit more in an upcoming episode. But the whole eldership, structure thing, all of that. We're deep in that at this point. And so Tom is like, that's great. I have other stuff for Amanda to do. She doesn't have time to play with your little women thing, because Tom discounted anything that was not worship or Tom related.
Yeah.
And so the women want to have a conference, that's fine. Let the ladies have tea. Like, whatever. Like, go have a tea party. That's fine.
Go do your thing.
Yeah, he didn't care. And so he's like, that's fine. I have stuff for Amanda to do anyway. More important leadership stuff for the elders. Mm-hmm. She can't, bother herself with this women thing. So I wasn't going to go. I wasn't going to be a part of it at all. I was just going to let you all do your thing.
Yeah. And I was in charge of worship.
Nice.
With absolutely no, female musician. And now I'm trying to remember. I think, gosh, was this is the retreat that we had the guys show up and play music in the band, and then they left because we had Schroeder show up, whatever band members would show up, because I was getting confused between the next one and this one. But this one, because we have no female musicians, I enlisted to have live music, that the guys would show up and play the instruments.
Yes.
And then the ladies would lead worship.
Yeah, the ladies, all the singers were women. It was just men who played instruments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they played the music for us.
Yeah, and Brandi did all of the, she made sure check-in went well. She did, all the registration. She did all of that.
Yeah. It was so weird because, I started out the beginning of this, retreat planning as, really, really gung-ho, right? And then by the end, I was very, confused because, like I said, Charlotte had her third-hand agenda of Miss America. So it was really weird how, Brandi was good. She was doing all her stuff. And the way I thought it was supposed to go down with what I was doing, wasn't really going down. And I saw the writing on the wall. So from the time that we started planning, and then the pandemic, and then we switched gears to doing a conference because we're still going to have this retreat, to August, I was willing to go back and manage and give up what I quit my management job for in the first.
Yeah.
Because Charlotte had Miss America, and it was so odd because I don't know if I really want people to wrap their brain around the fact that we all knew that this woman lied.
Well, and here's my other question, because I wasn't, like you said, I wasn't in the planning meetings. She hadn't planned anything up prior to COVID, right? She hadn't showed up to planning meetings. She hadn't joined a team.
This woman hadn't done anything and was being put in my place.
And so, the year before, she was really peeved because she didn't go to retreat and she felt left out.
Yeah.
Because she didn't get a shirt. Because they had showed up literally 2 weeks before retreat happened. And so the shirt orders were done. So she didn't get a shirt. And she was very hurt and she felt left out. And, well, why didn't we order extras? Well, because, girl, we're not going to spend hundreds of dollars and have all these extra t-shirts left over. We already had t-shirts that people in the past had ordered. And never paid for, never picked up. So then we're just stuck with these shirts that the church has to pay for, because the way the shirts worked was if I wanted a t-shirt, I paid the cost to buy the t-shirt and have it printed. Like, the church carried no costs, and they didn't charge extra for overhead. They charged you exactly what it cost to make the shirt, right? So we're not going to have all these extras laying around. The church can't, like, we're having people pay a year ahead so that we could cover the deposit. Well, where do you think we're getting the money to have all these extra shirts? And also, where the hell are we putting them? Like, there is zero storage in that building. So, no.
And to be honest, I showed up around the same time and missed going to the retreat that happened like weeks after I showed up. And I was bummed. I was sad. Didn't matter to anybody.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'll see you next year.
Yeah. Oh, we're sorry. Next year. Yeah. And so she was really bummed out about that, to the point where in between them showing up and this Hope 2020 retreat, we did multiple shirt orders. Not things that we designed and had the print shop do, but like Lori in the office would get like Christian catalogs sent to churches, and they would have like inspirational shirts and stuff. And then you could pay extra and they would customize it and put your church's name on the sleeve. And we put out order forms for those multiple times. I can think of at least 2 that we did. And like, that's not something we did on a regular basis. But we did it because Barry and Miss America didn't have any Come As You Are merch.
Yeah.
And she felt left out. So she doesn't show up to any planning or nothing. COVID happens. We come back from COVID. Okay, we're going to pivot. We're going to do a conference. And now all of a sudden, Miss America is in charge of shit.
But like, it wasn't even like... It wasn't even like she was doing anything.
She wasn't. She would tell.
She would show up when Charlotte was going to be there and then be glued to her side. And Charlotte would be like toting her around like her token beauty pageant girl, right? Like the face of women's ministry.
Mm-hmm.
But she didn't do anything. It wasn't like she was really put in charge of anything, but she was Charlotte's right-hand person without doing anything. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no.
Like, even Brandi was pissed about, even Brandi was mad about this.
Well, and so because
feathers ruffled, because it was weird.
Yeah. And because we're petty bitches, we would like ask her a question that we knew she didn't know the answer to. And she'd be like, oh yeah, let me get back to you. And we knew full well, you're going to call the person who's going to actually do it. So she would call, and then she'd call back. She'd be like, oh, sorry, I was busy. I had to yeah, here's the answer for you. And then we would call the person and be like, did Miss America just call you and ask you? Oh yeah, that was weird. Yeah. So you know no information. You want your name on thing. And so this is where Brandi started being like, she just wants the microphone.
Yeah.
Because she wanted to stand on stage. She wanted to be the face. She wanted her name on it. She wanted to hold a microphone in her hand and talk into it. But she didn't want to have to do all the actual work. And here's the thing. Like, there had been people who, whether they did it for real or were accused of it in the past, that did the same things, but at least they had like the wherewithal enough to like at least fake it,
do the work behind
and
it,
like
you know?
They might not have done the work, but they at least like planned ahead enough to like ask questions, and so they knew what was going on.
Yeah, and I think that's a very valid point. Like, we've seen many people over the years at this point who have come in and tried to take spots and be leaders and do things without, doing what they needed to do or whatever, like jump the line and whatever. before, but this is the first time. And it's not like, I'm going to come back to that first time, but it's not like by the end of this, she was in charge of anything. It was just enough that like you could tell.
Yeah.
Right. And this is the first time that people in my time going had come in and didn't have to do anything and were put on pedestals.
Yes.
Like absolutely literal pedestals above everybody. People who'd been there for a lifetime, people who'd been there for 2 weeks and were serving every day. Like these people showed up and didn't have to do anything, and they were given everything.
And I'm sure some of you are like, okay, whatever. Like, it's a church. Who cares? Well, when you've been in this for years, for decades, and it's drilled into you, you have to take 101, 201, 301, 401. You have to do Master Life. Master Life is a half of a year commitment. They hadn't done anything. All of us are jumping through hoops. People like you are having, like, you're having to prove like that you did it multiple times, and you're not being
interrogated.
Yeah, and you're not being allowed to do things.
Yeah.
And
like the interrogations you would go through if you wanted to do something and Tom got wind of it. Well, have you done this? Where are you at with God? What do you think? And you would have to like answer all of his questions perfectly to get permission to breathe practically. Yeah. And these people walk in and they're like, here, have the keys to the building. Stand up on stage and preach. Come and live at my house. I don't know. Like everything. Mm-hmm. Everything.
Yeah.
And it's really annoying to the majority of the people that are attending.
Yes. And all of us are like,
not just me and not just Brandi and not just
and
Amanda.
all of us who work your butt off. And then there's people who are working, who are trying to prove, because we've discussed this in previous episodes, how once Tom decides your narrative, there's no changing his mind.
Yeah.
And so there's people who Tom wrote off from the get-go. Tom wrote them off, and they are working so hard to prove themselves. Like, I mean, Beth Moore's son and his wife, who passed away tragically, her son, he never, ever, ever was right in Tom's eyes. He was always a screw up. He was always, because Tom decided that he was, years ago, he never was going to mature past 16. So in Tom's mind,
because of dumb stuff he did as a 16-year-old, like we all did.
And so for the rest of that man's life, Tom looked at him like he was a 16-year-old screw up kid. And it didn't matter what that guy did. It didn't matter how hard he worked.
On a Sunday about how his life had been changed and he was a complete screw up and now he's this amazing pastor. Yes. But it was okay for him, but not for anybody else.
And so that's why we're getting.
And they decided Barry and Miss America's narrative the moment they took one look at them.
And so that's why.
And nothing you said, real or not.
Yeah.
Would change their mind.
And so that's why we're getting all mad about this. And we're so frustrated over this. So we are coming up on the conference. And lo and behold, is there anyone to do sound? Nope. Who's good?
Nope. I was trying.
Yeah.
I mean, I could barely get, you don't want to know how it was like pulling teeth to get the guys to show up to play music.
Yeah.
And then trying to get a sound person. And like, I was being told, oh, we'll get one.
No. So they asked me the week of the conference. The conference is on a Saturday. They asked me the week of the conference, can you come and do sound? My husband is frustrated because I forget what we were even going to do, but we were going to do something as a family that Saturday. And I had to say, sorry, I can't. So he is frustrated. Jason is frustrated with Brandi because she is in full on planning mode. So she is spending long days, long nights, trying to get stuff done. When she is home, she's on the phone, trying to make sure plans are in order and all of this. And we go into the back half of the week, and Charlotte decides that we need to do a run through. So if you remember, when certain people speak at these conferences or at retreat or whatever, you have to prove that you can follow Charlotte's rules. And you have to talk and give your talk to her ahead of time.
Yeah.
Charlotte decides, because we never know when someone might get COVID. You never know. So it's like the night before, 2 nights before, maybe? I don't even remember. But we decide we are going to meet and we are going to do a run through of everyone's talks. And I have to come because I have to record them all.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting because like it was, now that I think about it, it seems like an afterthought or a last minute thought, because it really was within the last week. Like this is a new thought from the time you were asked to the conference. So within that last week, but it was a brilliant idea at the time because, oh no, we're just coming out of COVID, like, and it's still around. What if somebody can't show up the day of? That would be awful. We need to record them. Right. Yeah. And so like, I'm listening to you tell this and I'm like, yeah. And it was so last minute. And it was so, but it was so ingenious at the time.
Yeah.
Like I was all for it. Like, I didn't even realize it was within like in the last 48 hours of it, you know?
So the plan was that we were all, my family and Brandi's family, were going to have dinner at Brandi's house. Brandi and I show up, we feed our husbands, we feed our children. Then Brandi and I have to go to the church to record these things. I tell my husband I will be there for an hour and a half. We're going to crank through these things. Hour and a half. Right? Quick. I'm coming right home. Jason's frustrated because Brandi's like, I'm staying there till it's done. Like, that's just, like, you don't like it? Deal with it. Suck it. I am trying very, very hard to play both sides of this. And I am starting to get frustrated with the church at this point. And so I am not willing to fight that fight with my husband as much as I used to be. So I don't know. From the time where Tom called me inept, like,
yeah, it was a different
and
manner.
I had my little like make come as you are great again speech to him. I 100% was like, you know what? Screw you. I have boundaries.
Yeah.
And so this is one of my moments where I was like, I'm going to set this boundary and I'm going to keep it come hell or high water.
Yeah.
So we show up to record these. There are multiple women. I think there was like 4 or 5 women who were doing talks.
Yeah.
Of course, one of them is Charlotte's mom. She talks every year, says the same thing every year.
Different costumes.
Yeah. And so, we have these other ladies, but one of them has never spoken before. Mm-hmm. And as I am talking to Charlotte about what she is wanting, and I'm reaching out to these women being like, you have to come. This is what I need from you. Your PowerPoints need to be done, and you need to bring them on a jump drive. We need to get them loaded. Like, this is what I need for you to show up to be recorded. You're showing up and we're like, you're on. Like, you're showing up prepared. So she's given me this list and she's given me a rundown of everything. And this woman is going to speak. And as I'm talking to Charlotte, this woman who has never spoken before, who has been at the church for a few years now, like probably a handful of years, has kind of been involved and then not involved, back and forth, has struggled with substance abuse issues in the past, but is working to be sober. she is going to talk. And as Charlotte is going through each of these women's talks to me, it becomes very apparent. She's worried about what this woman is going to say. She's worried this woman is going to do what Amanda did at that retreat all those years ago, where, no, we're not talking about affairs. You will say we struggled, but now we're fine. And at the last minute, I go off script and I tell the truth. She's worried this woman is going to do that. And the things that this woman can talk about are a hell of a lot darker than an affair.
Yeah.
So I am like, oh, we're recording this because if she says something you don't want her to say, you're going to make me edit it out. And this woman's nervous. She's never spoken before. And Charlotte is doing absolutely nothing to be encouraging to her. I am up there and I'm like, okay, just think of this like a test run. We're going to get all of our jitters out so then tomorrow you can stand on the stage and you're not going to care because we've already practiced it. It's going to be great if you get nervous tomorrow. You're going to know where the camera is. You're going to know where I am. And like, you could just look right at me. And you don't have to worry about shocking me. You don't have to worry about being nervous because I've already heard it. Right? Yeah. Like, I'm trying to like...
There's like nobody here but us,
I'm trying to psych her up. You can do this. You got this. Right? Like, yeah.
A normal response when you think about what we're doing, right? Like, you're going to be giving a live presentation. Let's do a dry rehearsal. We're going to capture it just in case you get sick or whatever, or if you're too nervous to get up on stage, we can always show your video.
And that's how Charlotte approached it. I'm trying to psych this woman up. Like, no, you got this. Come on, girl. Yeah, we could do this. Yeah. Charlotte is like, oh, well, if tomorrow you're just too nervous, we can just play the video. It's fine. Yeah. It's fine. Yeah. So this woman is literally standing there shaking as she's giving her message.
Yeah, and I clearly remember Charlotte saying, like, don't worry about it because we'll just cut those parts out for tomorrow. Like, Charlotte had already determined in her mind that this woman's talk was going to be given by video. And we just all thought, how understanding of Charlotte, because she never gives any of us that kind of slack.
Well, and in my mind, I'm like, what the actual F? Like, I never got that kind of grace. Like,
no, me neither. Like, I was like, wow, look at how amazing she's being.
Oh, I was not thinking that. I was like, are you freaking kidding me right now? Like, I was mad. And so we go.
That's so funny because I was like jealous, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, dang, man. Like,
no, I was pissed.
Oh, awesome. She doesn't treat me like that. You know what I mean? Like, I've never been, I wanted to record, jeez.
Yeah, no, I was pissed.
We were forced, you signed up, you better do it.
Yeah.
But my narrative was, which is a funny thing. Sorry, we'll get right back to the rest of your story. The funny thing is my narrative is I flake out on stuff.
So if anyone should have had their stuff recorded, it should have been you.
Right. Because I might flake out. But what did I do before this retreat? I took my job back. Because I was like, this is not going. Now, I would have stayed. Like, you have to understand, I didn't make this choice, like, on my own. Like I didn't sit there and go, oh, I should go get my job back. I got a phone call, and they said, hey, we've had a change of plans, some things. What do you think about coming back? And I was like, oh, well, that's unexpected, right? And so then I went, well, let me think about where I'm at in life and what's going on. And I went, well, I see what's going on here and it's not working the way I thought. So heck yeah. And with my family situation, I mean, like, yes, I would like to go back to making money, please. Can I please make money and take care of my family? And can we please get back on the good road? Like, it was such a great decision for our family for me to do that. But it got billed as, well, Melissa just flakes out on everything. So.
Yeah. So there's that woman. She has to go first. So we don't even ease her into it. She is on a stage with lights on her, knowing she's being recorded, which I'm sorry, you and I have talked at multiple things. It's not like we've never talked in a microphone before and then we start a podcast, right? When we started recording ourselves, that was a struggle.
Because here's the deal. I could talk to a room of like 10,000 people and be totally fine. But talk to 2 people? Talk to a camera? Oh my gosh. Like that took me.
Yeah. So
we tried to do this podcast on video instead of just audio, and it didn't work. Where are we at? We're at the end. What are we doing? Recording in an audio.
Yeah. Like, you want to know why we're an audio-only podcast? Because we couldn't move past it.
Because Melissa disassociated on the first one. What's that on the wall? And this poor woman is like, go first. Not even like, and to like, there were like 3 of us. It was Charlotte, there was me, Brandi, and Charlotte's mom in there.
There was multiple women because the whole worship team was there. All the ladies who were singing came. Anyone who was on the planning team got to come if they wanted to. So like Barbara Jean was there, and but the speakers, like, we could have had Charlotte's mom go, who that woman has been speaking at retreats since I think Methuselah was in diapers. And so like, why couldn't she have gone first and kind of showed this lady how it's done? All the other women who spoke had spoken at things before. This woman was the only one who had never done this before. And we're going to make her stand up and go first. Yeah. So she goes first.
Practically empty building.
Yeah. She is terrified. She struggles through it, but she does well. And by the end of it, she had hit her stride and she had it. Right?
Yeah.
And so we're done with her. We record the next lady. And then Charlotte's mom's like, okay, well, I'll record. And I was like, awesome. The last one is Charlotte's pet. Okay. We have 4 women speakers. Like, the last one is Charlotte's pet. Okay. Thanks for coming, ladies. We'll see you in the morning. And I'm like, what the damn hell? Like, where's, we haven't recorded Charlotte's pet. Oh, she's fine. Excuse me? She's fine. The woman who gets
COVID in the morning.
The woman who, I'm sorry, Charlotte's pet gets sick all the frickin' time. That woman's immune system is garbage. Yeah. She is constantly getting pneumonia.
Like, she has known medical issues.
Yeah, like, is going to the hospital because she's so sick. Like, and she's good? Like, okay. Yeah. I get the woman who's scared. I get Charlotte's mom. She's an old lady. Yeah, anything could take her out. She could, like a gust of wind could blow her over.
Speakers, they're all on a statistic of people that you're like, yeah, they probably could get COVID.
Yes. And so, like, why?
All of them.
Why are we not having Charlotte's pet do this?
Yeah.
So I'm already a little perturbed, but I'm like, you know what? Whatever. I'm almost up on my time that I told my husband I would be here. I only got 20. I could be back 20 minutes early. Look, great. This is fabulous. Good job. Love it for us. Wrap it up. I start shutting stuff down, and Charlotte's pet walks up to the sound booth and says, "Can you help me build my PowerPoint?" Pardon me, ma'am? You don't, like, do I need to just, like, what, like, is it like a formatting issue? Like,
It was even better than that, because it was, she'll be here to give you, we're not going to record her, but she's going to give you her slides because you needed them. So she's bringing them.
Yeah, she's going to bring her slides.
She couldn't get there until late, and we don't need to record her. It'll be fine. So then when she showed up, she walks up the stairs to the sound booth to give you her presentation so you can upload it, and then says to you, "Oh, can you help me make it?"
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, is it like a formatting issue? Like, I could fix that in 20 minutes, right? I could still be home on time. No, She hadn't started them.
Yeah.
Charlotte told her, well, we could just sit there together and do it. Because that's what she did for Charlotte's mom the last few years.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why can't Miss America help? Oh, well, Miss America had to go home to her kids. Okay. Yeah. I have children. I have children also. Like,
yeah. I'm proud of you, though.
And so it was, well, she had.
And this turned into, let's not sugarcoat this. This turned into a fight.
Oh, yeah. No, I was fired
heated
up.
This was like, people were like, oh my. I don't think most of the people in that room had ever seen Amanda dirty pissed, dirty mad. I don't think anybody has ever seen, I don't know what you used to say. I learned like from you years ago, dirty mad.
Yeah, like dirty pissed off. Yep.
Dirty mad, right? Like nobody had seen it. Like whoever was left, and this is the end of the night, we all thought Charlotte's Pet was coming in because it wasn't like everybody was supposed to be there at a specific time and watch. It was one at a time. Like they showed up staggered, right? And so she was the last one. She shows up, bomb drop. She's not recording. Bomb drop, she doesn't have her stuff done. And this was a tense, heated interaction that nobody had ever seen before. Yeah.
I was mad. And I was mad. And we're going to continue this conversation over on our Patreon about the fact of the favorites that were played by Charlotte over the course of many years, but specifically at this retreat. When you look at that poor woman who this was her first retreat and she had to record, and then Charlotte's Pet could just show up and have nothing, and it's fine. Because this woman was told, if you don't pre-record, you don't speak at retreat.
Yeah.
So why is that the level for everyone else, but not for Charlotte's Pet? So we're going to continue that conversation over on our Patreon. But for this, I was like, you have got to be kidding me. And I said, I can help you for 20 minutes, but I am leaving in 20 minutes.
Yep.
Well, what do you have done? Well, nothing. I have, here's my notes. And I said, so the emails I sent, when you replied to me and said, yep, got it. I was so mad. I pulled the email up on my phone. And I was like, you replied to me right here. I'm showing you the receipt. You replied to me and you said, yep, got it. Why are you showing up with nothing? Well, I had to work. Okay, well, I've been here all freaking day. I went home. I fed my husband. I fed my kids. I fed Brandy's husband. I fed Brandy's kids. And I am not staying here. And Charlotte comes up and Charlotte tries to intervene. And I was like, nope.
Can I just say, it was beautiful. I enjoyed every moment. It was empowering. It was the best thing to ever happen. As you are, it was amazing.
I was so mad. And so finally, the woman who does the slides on Sundays, she is like a kindergarten teacher, is her day job. And she's like, well, I'm happy to stay to help. I was like, that's fine. You can help her if you want. It's probably going to take till freaking midnight because she didn't do anything. And I was like, I'm leaving.
And out the door, Amanda.
Yeah, I was like, I'm leaving. I'll be back.
I'll be back in the morning to run the slides.
So I didn't even have to run the slides because the kindergarten teacher did it. I was in charge of sound. And then Charlotte put me in charge of the music of when people were coming in. And before the actual conference started, just kind of ambient and background music. Charlotte put me in charge of that. And out of spite, I played freaking Lecrae and 1,000-Foot Crutch. I was trying to come up with the any Christian rap that I could find on our little list. I was digging into old school youth songs and I was playing those things because Charlotte wanted How Great Is Our God? And I was like, nope, you're getting Lecrae, you're getting church clap, that's what you're getting. And she was so mad. because she had been in the lobby. So the music was kind of low. I mean, it's not like we're rocking out, right? Like, but the music's low. And she walked into this sanctuary, and I still to this day can vividly picture her face, realizing I am playing rap music, and she looks at me, and I just smiled at her and sat down. So she couldn't see me over the sound booth.
And I love how, like, she did one of those, like, because I'm in charge of all things ambiance. And she's like, well, did you know, or do you, like, what is this? And I'm like, it's so great. Everybody's loving it. It's great. Like,
yeah, women are bobbing their heads as they're waiting. Like,
you, me, and Brandi. Like, I think of, like, high school movies that you watch where, like, the kids all do something to the teacher, and then everybody's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. You, me, and Brandi were all like, I don't know, ask her. I don't know, ask her. Like, your boundary setting empowered all of us to just be like, I don't know.
And so, yes,
I don't hear it. What? There's music playing? What?
So, was my choice of music passive aggressive? Yes, 100%. I own that. That was petty.
Oh, yeah.
But it also brought me so much joy. And yeah, so we make it through Hope 2020. And I didn't stay for the whole thing. I got music started, and then I want to say Tom or someone else took over.
It was either Tom or Froggy.
Yes.
It was, or Schroeder. Like, I honestly am trying to remember.
I don't think it was Schroeder, because he could come and play, and then he had to leave. Go. Yeah.
Yes. So it was either Tom or Froggy, and I'm leaning towards. I'm trying to remember if Froggy played the bass. Like, I honestly just don't remember, and it was one of the two. Like, you were. I want to say it was Tom.
I want to say it was Tom also.
Yeah, and it was because, like, you were supposed to do it all, but then he was like, why don't you just go? And
you
can
go. And I think it's because your wife went home the night before and bitched about me throwing a hissy fit.
That's why
then you're getting ready to play worship, and your wife walks into the sanctuary, and I'm playing rap music, and she probably went and grabbed you and drug you into a back room and had a full-on crash out.
Because you have to understand, I had convinced the worship team men to show up, and we don't need you to close. I don't need you to come back. I need you to do opening worship, and then you're free. Yes. Like, it's a Saturday, show up at 8, you'll be done by 9:30, right? We start at 10 or whatever, right? Like, whatever it was. And it was like, just play 5 songs and you're done, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and then Tom stayed all day.
Whether it was my boundaries or my petty move with the rap music, I did not have to stay all day, and it was glorious.
Win-win.
Yeah, it was great. So, how did the rest of the conference go?
Honestly, like, was it a failure? No. Was it? I mean, it was good, right? Like, it was good. But it wasn't retreat. So if it had been a conference, and I said this, right? Like, I said this, like, for a conference, it was good, right? There was nothing that I could say, like, wasn't good, but it wasn't retreat.
Yeah.
So when you're trying to bill it as our retreat this year, which is where women get away from home for 1.5 days, right? Where a woman gets a moment to herself to focus and reflect on her and her relationship with the Lord in a beautiful, I mean, we live in Colorado. Like, gosh, I just drive up the road for like 30 minutes and I'm in heaven. You know, we live that close to mountains, and, you know, you can go up there for a moment, you can breathe, you get this space. And it really doesn't matter if women put on funny hats and wear bed sheets and talk about Jesus, because you're not at home, right? And
you don't have cell service.
And you don't have cell service. And it's not just, I'm going to go spend a few hours in an uncomfortable church chair. You're not there for the freaking retreat. You're there for your girlfriends. You're there for the pile of chocolate in the middle of the table. You're there because somebody's cooking for you. You're there to stay up till 3:00 in the morning laughing, and eating licorice and coloring pictures or painting or getting your nails done, right? Like sitting in your pajamas and just having that's why you go to retreat. Not because of the speakers and the skits and the this and the that. So when you take what retreat was, which was the speakers and the skits and all of that, and you put it into a one-day conference.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, all the women who we thought were going to come because they've been so desperate through COVID and, we're going to get all these community women are going to come to this because it's free. No, they didn't. It was still church people. And I'm sorry. Also, just like Miss America, they're going to walk in and all the Come As You Are people are wearing the shirts that they had paid for and ordered, a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. And they're going to wear those to the conference. And so you're going to walk in to a building where you don't know anyone and everyone's wearing the same shirt and you're the oddball out. And then we're going to expect them to pay us $150 to come back next year? What the hell were we thinking?
Burning Butterflies is a listener-supported podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by our amazing supporters on Patreon.
Follow the link in our show notes to learn how you can become a Patreon supporter too. Supporters get exclusive access to bonus content each month, including outtakes, cut content, and supporter-only episodes. If you've enjoyed this episode, please leave us a rating on your listening platform.
Burning Butterflies is a production of Asha Media. Thank you for listening.